Welcome everybody to That Yearbook Podcast with those yearbook people, Sabrina and Jimothy. We're here.
Yeah.
Season 3, episode 6 already.
Boom.
We are flying through the season.
The
Wow.
school year we're on the downhill roll almost now.
Yes, yeah. And yearbooks are like in full swing. Like everything is happening. It feels like right now, like the pressure's on, guys. Like it's happening.
We used to call February the month of tears because, everything has to happen in February. And I think what we're going to, talk a little bit about, January can be such a great time to set you up to have a smooth February as you try to finish up the book whenever your final deadlines are, depending upon where you are in the year. But yeah, so take time in this time of year to really make sure you know what you need to do and what the steps are to have a smooth end of the year, because now we're ready to see all that ending stuff happen, and it gets exciting. I mean, I remember how it's like the book's going to get done and we're going to get through all the parts of it, and then boom, you're going to be at the end of the year. Can you believe the year's getting almost done, halfway over?
I know. I was going to say, in January, we used to do what I call the State of the Yearbook address, where we're like at the halfway point. I'm like, let's just talk about where we're at right now. Let's all come back together and kind of, this is what we've done. This is what has gone really well. Here's where the wheels are coming off. We need to like pull things back together, but it is kind of a fun time for all that stuff, because you start to see, like, it's a little bit of the panic when you were saying the month of tears, but you're not wrong either.
Yeah, you want to eliminate, you want to make it not be the month of tears if you plan well. So we're trying to eliminate that as the point.
Yes. Oh man.
We've got our theme section all taken care of, and now we can focus on some other things. And one of the things, over the last number of years on the podcast here, we have always done at this time of year a photo session. Mm-hmm. We brought in a professional, one of our great photography teachers in the country, and man, there are some really great ones. Mm-hmm. We've brought them in and started talking about what can we do in these last couple of months to improve our photography. And because you've got that crazy thing happening at this time of year, particularly with spring sports, where, your weather may not be cooperating, you may have to take practice pictures, all those kind of things. But we always try to bring to you some tips for finishing the year strongly with photography. And boy, do we have a training video coming up for you with the one and only Mark Murray.
But yes, we have Mark Murray and the training video that pairs with this podcast, talking about photo storytelling. It's really, you don't have to be a pro at the camera itself to have great photo storytelling in your books. This is something you guys can go out and do like right now, today, even though it's the middle of the year and you're like halfway through your book probably at this point. You can still start practicing this and enacting this on your pages, because it's really thinking through not just having storytelling photos like, hey, we don't want posed photos. We don't want kid up against the lockers, smiling at the camera, whatever. That I think we all get. We know that. This is more, hopefully, we want to, the photos that we take and the photos that we choose to use on the spread all actually work together to tell a story. So you're getting like the before, the beginning, the middle, of the end, but you're getting all different aspects of whatever the topic of that spread is about on the spread. So it's really, it's powerful when you really think about it.
And what this whole concept is going to do, it's going to really create a better collaboration between your photographers, your writers, and your editors. It's really going to get all three of those groups talking and planning before they ever go out and shoot a frame. And I know that's going to be a little bit challenging because you're going to have to pre-plan to have, meetings and talk about the shots you're looking for. It's probably going to mean that hopefully this happens already anyway, that the writer of the story and the photographer will actually be at the same event at the same time.
It
And
can
I know,
happen.
I know.
I mean, how many times, Jim, I had this in my classroom all the time where I would see a kid like there's 10 minutes left of class and there's something happening or they need to get pictures for a spread and they grab the camera and they run out and they run back in 10 minutes and they're like, I think I got some good ones. And I'm like, okay,
Right,
cool.
right,
You got some good ones. So we probably have something we can put on a spread. But
right.
is that the best we could really be doing to tell a story with our photos? Is this really the best foot that we can put forward? Or, like you were saying, do we go in with a purpose and a plan
Yeah.
and thoughtfulness so that we're really using every opportunity we can in the yearbook to tell stories?
I mean, very simply, are your photographers and your writers or editors, whoever happens to put it together, are you having conversations about what you need and what you would like to see from the photos they bring back in? I mean, this just brings up again how we did it the wrong way for so long
You
in
know,
my yearbook world, where it was like, go out and shoot and we'll hope we have something, because what we would like to see is at least that one storytelling shot, which is going to be the dominant, that is the essence of what you're trying to cover. So I think what you're going to find if you use this method, you're going to have better images and find more about what story needs to be told on that particular spread.
Well, it's such a different mindset shift, right? I feel like when we would go out or the kids would go out to get photos, when I was advising, we were just looking to get great photos. Like we wanted just a great photo. Like the more great photos we had, the better. And it wasn't necessarily about telling a story. It was just
Right,
about this is a cool photo. Nothing wrong with that. We
right,
want good photos. Like we want
right,
them to be quality photos, well composed, shot well, edited well, all of those things. But this is like leveling up your game. We're not just trying to get and even so, when we were choosing photos for the spread, we would literally just go through all the photos that we had and just pick what we thought were the best pictures.
right,
But instead of really looking at the spread as a whole and going, what photos are going to help tell this story the
right,
best, as opposed to what is the best photo. So it's really shifting how you think about how you choose photos for your spread, which is kind of
right.
cool. I like
And
it.
it's that time sequencing, the timeline thing where you want to talk about what the story is, because you might know what the story is ahead of time,
Uh,
or what you think the story might be. So you're collaborating with the photographer to say, here's this list of shots I want you to try to get. We need
mhm,
something that's a setup shot. We need something that is the essence of the whole story. We need something at the beginning, the middle, the end, to help you in that storytelling process. So I just sense that we always, just what you said, we just want good photos and we'll
Perfect.
deal with the story
We
later,
just hope it all goes together, and you stumble upon something that all goes together, but you can make a plan for that. Even Mark even mentioned something that we didn't really elaborate on in the training video, but I wanted to mention here. He even mentioned when talking about like getting the beginning, middle, and end, that even some detail shots that don't have people in them that
Oh
help
yeah,
tell the stories. Like
right.
he's talking about one specific storytelling package that he goes through in the training video. So go check out the training video. And he talks
Yeah,
about the beginning part. It would have been even better if they had some detail shots of some of the items that the kids were using in this event, this field event. If you had some of those like pictures of just those things, like set up on a table, or kids like getting ready, at their house and gathering all those items, because even that detail shot helps reinforce the
that's right.
storytelling and it adds visual variety on the page. And I was like, that's exactly right. Because as soon as he said it, I could picture it in my head. And I went, oh my gosh, that picture would help so much,
Yeah.
even though what he's talking about is literally a picture of bottles, like that's it.
There was one example that he gives where it's like the conference championship or the state championship. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but I think there was maybe one, maybe two action shots on the court, but they also had a
Yes.
end of the game with the coach. They had two people hugging in the middle of the shot, in the middle of the action, and they had a
Mm-hmm.
crowd shot. So it wasn't just we're going to have 18 pictures of people dribbling up and down the court. They
Right.
really had a variety of things that they cover. Now, one of the ways that we have talked about this before, is the idea of doing different kinds of shots, a shot list,
Mm-hmm.
bird's eye, worm's eye, group shot, two people, one person, all that. That's the beginning of this.
Yeah.
But what we're going to be talking about here is a more detailed approach to talking about the list of shots you might need and
Right.
how those can help you tell the story.
So what do you do? Like I did this a little bit. I wish I could say I was more organized about it, but you know me.
I do know you.
It wasn't organized at all. But like there are some programs out there that do a really good job of organizing, where they have to go out and get like 50 photos a week. Like each student has to go out and get like X amount of photos a week. And they're just taking photos of stuff that's happening around campus. This kind of this photo storytelling kind of changes that approach, because you're just
Yeah.
out there grabbing photos. But even so, some of those photos could still be utilized for divider pages or kind of random other pieces and portrait sections, stuff like that too. So I still think there's merit to some, and it's good practice if nothing else, but it might be a good thing to take that shot list and have them practice that
Yes.
during their
Yeah.
like weekly
Yes.
photos, you know what I mean? So that they get really good at it. So when you're out at an event, you're not looking at your piece of paper and then trying to get that shot, and looking at your piece of paper and then trying to get that shot. It's just kind of ingrained in your brain because you've been practicing it throughout the year.
That's right. So it can become a teaching tool even before you go out and are actually
Yeah.
putting out the content you're trying to find the story for. The other thing, and I think I mentioned this before, is I think this helps create a connection, a bond, more of a collaboration feeling between the photographers, the design staff, and the writing staff. I know I can tell I was guilty of,
Mm-hmm.
like, you guys, you're the photographers, and if you remember the old color thing, you're
Yeah.
orange, and we editors are gold, and
Yeah.
you crazy photographers, you go out and find, get us cool stuff.
Just leave the classroom. Go be free. Go get
But
pictures.
I,
Yeah.
but I think if we look at it in a collaborative manner, you can really raise, I think, in your photographer's mind, their value to the whole process. You
Mm-hmm.
can make them feel like they really are even more important
Yeah.
than they are when you're just sending
So
them out
true.
trying to get the cool shot. So
Yeah. They're
you
much more a
really
part of
are.
the team and
That's right. You're
the whole conversation of what to put on that spread, as opposed to just give us your best pictures.
right. And
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 we'll figure it out from here.
frankly, it just depends upon where you are on the continuum of developing your photography program and your whole yearbook program, for that
Yeah.
matter. So this might not be something that you're able to do full blown right out of the chute, but it's a goal that I think you're trying to work
Mhm.
toward, just a more collaborative model in your classroom where
Yeah.
everybody has their role and everybody is working together to figure out what's the best way to meet the goals of the spread, or particularly the stories you're trying to tell.
And it might be part of like if y'all use spread planning sheets, like we always have like, hey, this spread is whatever football, and so you would, the reporters would plan, who am I going to talk to? What's the story angle? Go interview people, like what kind of mod packages do we want to do? They would have all that planned out. The photo storytelling piece or photo stories really could be a part of that spread planning sheet. It could
Yes.
be that conversation at the very beginning of, hey, like we're not, this is the story we're going for. So I need you to when you're taking photos, go look for photo storytelling pieces about this specific angle, so that way all of those things on the spread are all working together.
Well, I think that idea, because I never did it, to have a photo planning sheet like that. And then I can see how it'd be great when the photographer comes back after the game. You could use this as a teacher, as a tool to say, okay, here's your photo planning sheet. Let's
Mm-hmm.
look at your scene setting photo. Let's look at one of the crowd. Let's look at the one of the coach. So you could use that as a method to have a conversation with your photographer as you're evaluating what they came back with.
Right.
You can see how well they did, and that even could
Mm-hmm.
be a something that you could use for an evaluative tool where, if you show me these 5 different shots, you'll get the points for being at the game or
Yeah.
whatever. So I think there's so many exciting ways we could use this,
Yeah.
to get better results and have everybody understand in a more effective way what we're looking for as we try to tell the story. Because I think what Mark said that's so important is it's all about the story.
So true.
What is the story and how can we best tell it?
And I think like for anybody listening that's not a photographer, like, and you're like, well, this doesn't really apply to me. Like, it still absolutely does, because it's all working together on the spread. And honestly, when you watch the training video and you see some of these images, how they all work together, it's really giving your spread visual variety. It's like naturally forcing visual variety on
Absolutely.
your spread. So instead of having five, like you just mentioned, 5 pictures of the athletes in the game, so you're going to get like a lot of single people photos or a lot of like 2 people photos in there, or small groups. You're getting a variety of those things. You're getting maybe a single person photo, then 2 people, then 3, then a crowd. It's naturally kind of forcing you to do that because of you trying to actually find photos that are telling the story. So it's bringing visual variety to the page for you designers out there that are just looking at the spread aesthetic,
Yeah.
and for the writers, the storytellers out there, those that are writing copy, this should also partner together. So these things are all working together to tell the same story. They're going to reinforce the message of your words. And so again, like, this affects everybody. This isn't just for photographers. This is for the whole group, the whole staff.
That's right. And I just want to mention when I was in South Florida last week, and I've known this for a long time, but I saw it again. Monica Rodriguez and her staff at Gulliver Prep Upper School, what they do is the dominant photo on their spread is directly tied to the lead of the story. So
Mm-hmm.
they, right from the get-go, they make the dominant the focus of the story. So if you don't have a great storytelling photo as your dominant,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be able to start your story. And it does turn out to be really effective. They can bring in other parts of the story than just that one photo, but
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have a great photo that's going to be tied to the lead. So
Yes.
they've kind of done that a little bit already. And I think that's been very effective for them because they
Yeah.
have that one photo that really is a great storyteller.
And it's just that next level thinking. Like, we want a great story, we want a great layout, we want great photos. And I think our goal is always to get all of those pieces and make them the best they can be and put them on the spread. But the next level is when all of those pieces are working together and sending the same message. That's when it's powerful. That's when it's award winning, wow, blown away kind of work.
And
Um,
it's that thing to a little bit of upfront discussion, planning, collaboration is going to make the final product so much easier to put together.
yes.
So it seems like it's more complicated, but it is on the front end, but on the back end, it makes the final product so much better.
So much better. So, on the opposite end of that, I have to ask, Jim,
Yeah,
are
okay.
there any photos that drive you crazy that you like, if we're to like try and get these photos out of your yearbook, are there any
Yes.
photos that you're like, please stop?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Please don't
Okay,
put
here's
these
a
in there
couple of
anymore.
please
Yeah.
stop. When it's January, January seemed to be a time when we would turn to doing the academic section. We don't want those photos of people sitting in a desk. That is
Mm,
not
mm,
good.
mm, mm.
We don't want pictures that you don't crop well. I'm tired of seeing all this crazy nothingness around a subject that would have so
Mm-hmm.
much more impact if you cropped it a little bit better. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very tired of, as you look at your spread, are all the photos from the same day or the
Oh,
same
yes.
game.
Yes.
Oh
And
my
how,
goodness.
like, you can absolutely tell. Like, so somebody went one time to one event and is trying to capture the season or the whole like organization or something like that. And we've got everybody's wearing the same.
Oh my
Like, we can
goodness.
tell it was one day. I agree. Kids sitting at desk photos like just bore me to tears. Like
Boring.
it. No, don't
Boring.
get me wrong. I've seen some really good ones. There was one years ago of a girl taking a test, and her eyes were like bugging out of her head. She looked like freaked out by what was on the paper in front of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember looking like that's the first time I've seen a picture of a kid at a desk that made me like feel something because I was like, man, I've been there. Like I've had that feeling before when you're like, I don't know any of this, you know? So like that was relatable, that was emotion, but most of the time those pictures are no bueno. The other time there's big crowd pics, like when
Oh,
for like walks in a classroom and just stands at the door, you know, and takes the picture, or stands like at the back of the gym and that's how they're taking the picture of the basketball game. Like get in the action, you know, get in there as close as you can get so that you're filling the frame instead of having a
get
bajillion
close.
people, you know. Now again, if this goes back to photo storytelling, sometimes you do want those big pulled out like crowd shots, like scene setting shots, you know,
Right.
depending on what the story is and what you're trying to do with your photo story package. But most of the time, it's not the best.
I
Yeah.
have another one that I'm tired of. Holding your camera straight on, shooting straight on.
And
What
pictures we can take, you know, because
you,
that's how my mom takes pictures
right.
right there. You don't want to do that.
You want to get low and shoot up. You want to
Mm-hmm.
get high and shoot down.
Yup.
I was just talking about this with the school. They are masters of getting low and shooting up. And when you do that, when you get low and shoot up, it creates this really cool flow from the top of that photo down. So you can have this really cool, sort of diagonal
Yeah.
movement in your spread that really is effective. So
Mhm.
even some of those at the desk shots can be really helped
Right.
if you change the angle. So change
Absolutely.
your angle, get close. That will change a lot of the stuff in your
Change
yearbook
a
and make it
lot
so
of
much
stuff
more effective.
for sure.
Well, Sabrina, speaking of more photography, well, first of all, it's going to be time for spring photography. And here you really need to plan with weather problems, how you're going to cover your spring sports if your final deadline's in March. So you got to get out there and get some practice shots, some working in the rain shots or whatever. But then besides spring sports, we also have something that we do every spring. And what is that, Sabrina?
It's our photo contest.
Yay.
It is so fun. We get so many entries for this.
Thousands,
And
thousands.
the more the merrier, guys. Send them in. We want to see that. It is going to start on February 23rd through March 27th. So you basically have a full month to submit photos. But that doesn't mean you have to wait until then to start taking these photos and preparing them to submit. So
That's
you
right.
should start looking through the photos you've had from the school year, start taking photos now and start narrowing down your choice because you can only submit so many per person.
Right, right.
But start narrowing down your choices so that you can submit your best photos to the photo contest. And we'll have more information as we get closer, but there are prizes. You can win things. And a lot of what we use in our posters and our like marketing materials and things like that that you see on our website are student photos. So you
That's
could
right.
be published and your stuff could be out there. I
Right.
remember one year a student, one of the editors at Bayshore High School in Florida, he had one of his photos on our kit box that went out to every advisor in the country. Like, what was that? That's a big accomplishment. That's a big portfolio
Right.
builder. So
Yeah,
it's
after I was advisor there in the Walsworth booth, there was a gigantic picture of Del Campo softball player in the booth. It was amazing, and I was able to take a picture and send it to the advisor and say, look at what your kid did." So
like it's
yeah,
a big
and
deal.
it's great for your resume to win in the photo contest, and you can make a little bit of money. I think there's gift cards involved.
Yes.
That will get you 100 Starbucks, whenever you can get those lattes whenever you want, all that stuff. It's exciting. So
It sure is. Those things are getting expensive. So
but I think, but the bigger point is, advisors, is start looking now, because if you don't submit, Sabrina and I may start sending you emails saying we haven't got anything from your school. We know your kids are rock star photographers. Please send stuff in. So start picking them now. The first half of the year, some of the great stuff your students have done. Get it into the contest. And I guarantee you, and those great photos rise to the top. There's no question about it. They're always, because I think both Sabrina and I get to judge on one level, and instantly, this is a winner. It's so incredible that it's a storytelling photo. It has emotion. It's shot beautifully. And let me throw this in there. It's cropped beautifully. I think one of the things that hurts a lot of people in the contest is they don't crop their photos. They just put them in as they were taken out of the camera.
Crop your photos. It's that extra little step that it's like, I know it's annoying, but do it.
Just do it
anyway. Just do it. I'm telling you, because it makes a huge difference when that subject of the photo is filling the frame rather than a tiny, little dot in the background. So crop those, but get that negative space out of there that you don't need, so that we can really see what's happening in that picture.
And it's great, as an advisor, if you assign everybody has to pick their 5 best photos, or however many it is, and that can be a January assignment when we're kind of in the doldrums a little bit,
Not the month of tears yet. But
no, we're eliminating that. It's going to be the month of laughter and joy that we're doing so well. But there are times when you can have a little bit of downtime to pull some of these great photos and have everybody go through it and celebrate. I mean, this would be great. Here's, Sabrina's 5 best photos. Do that as an opener in the class, and, clap and celebrate the great work we're doing. Crop that better.
Well, hopefully this was helpful for you guys today. I'm talking about photography and photo storytelling, and a shout out again to Mark Murray for joining us on the training video. Go check that out. He is amazing. We are so lucky to have him. We're so lucky to hear from him and learn from him. What an expert. So good, so innovative, and so relatable, right? Just the nicest guy. Love having him around. So thanks to Mark. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Danielle, in the background. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, and finish strong.
Yes.
We're loving it. It's January, and it's going to be a great finish to the year. Go get them.
Thank you for tuning in to That Yearbook Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on your preferred platform. Happy yearbooking!